Informed, outspoken, wild, fearless. This is the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast.
What is up, my dudes? This is Trent with the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Today's episode, we are going over late round fantasy football draft values. Gonna wrap the show up with some draft day foods. So I don't know, guys be thinking about that. I'll be talking about, there's nothing worse than going to a draft party that like only has veggie sticks or something. You know what I'm saying, Phil? Like I could see you hosting like a vegan hot dog party or something.
Yeah,
Phil.
like the cold, like cold broccoli with ranch. You're just like,
that is sick.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true.
That is disturbing.
Phil,
Weight Watchers, basically a Weight Watchers draft party. Like you meet all these
Yeah.
friends at Weight Watchers, then you have a draft party.
Yeah, if you go to a fantasy football draft and people are asking you how many points this is, if you eat it, it's like, hey, just quit the league right there. Like it's not worth it.
For sure.
Save yourself some heartache. All that good
Well, actually,
stuff.
Jordan probably would fit right in. The dude doesn't snack while he's watching football on Sundays. Remember that?
That's true. That's true.
Jordan would be pointless the entire time.
He just sits there with his hands on his like two thighs in his church clothes for 8 hours and doesn't move.
Yeah, basically.
That is inaccurate.
George Pickens.
No, you sit up
I
straight
got a
and you put
laptop.
your hands down.
Yeah,
and you just sit
Not
there.
true. I gotta check everything, Seth. I'm constantly sweating stuff.
And he's got an
Constantly checking
antenna going.
everything.
I don't know why you're sweating, but
He's got an antenna going. It just makes
Sweating
me
the
so
bet,
mad that
Seth.
you don't
Sweating
have
my lineups.
It makes me so mad that you don't have chips or just like, dude, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways,
Hey,
hey,
everyone,
it's
whatever
draft
toots
month.
your horn,
It's
I think
draft
they
month,
say.
guys. Hey, it's draft month. Is that a good thing? Can we clap it up for that? Clap it up. Fantasy football draft kickoffs around the corner. Hall of Fame game is this weekend. You can tell I'm rusty because I was trying to plan a Hall of Fame game.
It's Thursday. Isn't the game on Thursday?
Yeah, we are recording Monday night, which is a little different. It's just how it works out. So this will come out Thursday. But yeah, I was thinking of having a Hall of Fame game party. Was going to invite some of the dudes. Then, I'm rusty. It snuck up on me. I told my wife I'd go to dinner with her on that night. So I'll just save it for another one. Because Phil, you actually
tell her I'm
Hall of
sorry.
Fame week.
She probably wishes you were having a game so she doesn't have to spend time alone with you. What were you saying?
Probably true. No, but like Phil's the guy that let me know, like, hey, Hall of Fame game, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know, Phil. You're probably coaching soccer or something, but thanks for reminding me. But
you got that beta football. Blackstone that you have. What are you going to do with that thing? That thing is so
Blackstone.
beta.
That thing is so
Blackstone.
Beta. I have a camping trailer. That thing fits in there like a glove. Okay, so thing is not beta. That thing's only about.
You have to use one of those small little. What did you say?
It's about 3 inches smaller than your Blackstone. What's the cooking surface of your Blackstone?
28 inches.
Okay, mine I believe is. I think
22.
mine is 22.
6 inches is a drastic difference when it comes to cast iron grilling.
Hey, are you guys talking about Blackstones or what are we talking about here?
We're talking about cast iron grills.
Grill. It's on my.
Talking about
sure.
like a 3 inch
Just
by a
making
2
sure.
inch difference. Like, just shut up. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Well, you shut up, Seth.
Phil's calling it a beta. Phil's calling it a beta grill. The guy talks about size. The guy's spatula is about the size of a baby carrot stick. So I don't even want to hear it. The guy had me man the grill.
You were literally crawling to flip burgers.
Arm.
You posted a picture of yourself at the RV camp. You were on your hands and knees flipping those burgers. Are you kidding me? I don't know. You were crawling around turning hot dogs. Like, I don't think I can take trash from someone like you.
Hey, that is not my grill. I did not grill on that. But that guy, you're such a moron. I hate you so much.
Yeah, honestly, I was like, I don't know how you were able to get down there with your bad ankles.
It wasn't my grill. It wasn't my grill. Yeah.
Oh my! He was just flipping them with his feet. Seth, that's so good. Oh, no. Gout's got him down bad.
I hate you. So anyways, I think that kind of does it with all the just smack talk. Phil calling the fact that you're saying a beta Blackstone is the dumbest thing ever. Like, oh my,
it is.
Next
dude,
time I have
beta Blackstone.
It's for camping.
You saw me make bacon wrap dogs at our what was that? Is that a draft party?
Yeah.
You saw me make bacon wrap dogs at our draft party, and you're like, you know what, Phil did a really good job on this. I'm going to get one for myself. And it's just like, listen, I'm a trendsetter. I get it. Not a big deal. But for you to like downsize off the one that I already had, it pains me, Trent.
I'll be solely got this solely for camping. It fits in my trailer. It folds up real small. It's pretty sweet, Phil. Like I don't know why you're hating on this, calling it a beta Blackstone. You're such a I can't even say what I want to call you. But anyways, we kick this thing off. Jordan's looking fly over there. Yeah. So anyways.
Are you in Punta Cana, Jordan? Where are you?
I'm in Crystal Beach, Texas, next to Galveston. I can hear the ocean. I'm outside. I can hear the ocean about 200 yards away from the ocean, maybe less 200 yards away. It's nice out here fighting the mosquitoes. Ready to go, though.
Feeling sun-kissed, as they say.
He's in love with the game, but he's not in love with all of it. If you want to see what Jordan's wearing here, sporting, he is in a Don't Mess with Texas tank top. You won't want to miss that. Head over to YouTube at tffdudes. Hit the subscribe. Remember, don't be rude. Share it. The dudes really helps us out. Anyways, guys, Phil, you're back here. Phil, you're going to be quarterbacking this, Phil. We have mid to late round values. We're going to talk about ADP, that's what they are overall. Correct, Jordan? What they are overall on a draft board. The draft board we're using is from Fantasy Pros, what Fantasy Pros is using this. It's using Underdog. It's using Draft. It's basically giving us the ADP for all the people that are playing money drafts right now, best ball drafts. Is that the right way to say it, Jordan?
Yeah, it's ADP, average draft position. Yeah. But you hit it there.
Yeah. So these aren't free. This isn't like Sleeper. Hey, Sleeper's the best. It's my favorite place to play fantasy football. I love mock.
Oh, you're asking like where they're pulling it from?
These ADPs are from sites that are actually paid drafts right now. It's not free mock drafts on Sleeper. Sleeper's great sponsor of the pod, but sometimes guys reach on stuff to kind of see what it looks like. These are all guys that have serious backing behind their drafts. So this is a very good, the wide receivers are probably going to be a little earlier because we're pulling from Underdog stats here as well. And wide receivers go a little earlier on Underdog. And remember, Underdog is the best place to play best ball. They also got season-long plays, all kinds of stuff. Head over to Underdog Fantasy. They'll match you up to $100, guys. Enter promo code DUDES. It's a lot of fun over there on Underdog. So remember, don't be rude. Share the dudes. Enter promo code DUDES. They'll match you up to $100, guys. Tell them the dude sent you. Underdog is a great place to do, mock drafts for some cash with other people. We do some drafts here on the channel. Usually they come out on Mondays. So anyways.
Hey, Trent, also just to plug Underdog a little bit, like they're doing the college football. I know it's not a college football podcast, but like they're doing the college football best ball drafts as well. And I did one of them. I want to do a lot more, but they just take a lot of time and focus. They're honestly a lot harder than the NFL ones. But they're pretty sweet. So I think that the one they have up is about to fill. And I'm hoping they open a new one. So I would say at least try to get one in there at least. It's $10, I think, for the college. So get a couple in there. Have some fun.
All right. Well, Phil, you'll be quarterbacking this year. Like I said, we got the ADP. Then we have the overall position. We have the position, and then we have the ADP, which is going to be like 160, 70 overall, stuff like that, when we have their position rankings as well. You want to throw it over to Jordan here first, Phil, and then
you want to kick it off with Jordan. We'll talk about the wide receiver.
Yeah.
All right, Jordan, you want to go for your wide receivers here? You actually have two wide receivers. Let's talk about both of those. Actually,
I'll go with my first one. I got Xavier Worthy. Wide receiver 41 overall with an 81 overall ADP. Kind of shows you how many wide receivers are getting drafted early on. But yeah, I like Xavier Worthy. So we're talking like round 8 here, round 7, 8, 9 somewhere. It's not a late round value, kind of like a mid round value. But I think that in that offense, we've shown that him and Mahomes kind of have an early connection. There's a lot of unknown with Rashee Rice. Marquise Brown is I think he is what he is at this point. He's a deep threat. Get the ball in the middle of the field. But I think Xavier Worthy kind of is similar to Marquise Brown, but I think he's more explosive. I think Mahomes is going to make an effort to give him the ball. I think at least like 2 of these 3 receivers are going to be really good with Mahomes this year. I lean that it's Worthy and Brown. And I think Rashee Rice might be the odd man out. I like Worthy a lot. He's a first-round draft pick on him, and I think his ADP is going to get up there a little bit, especially after a couple preseason games. Maybe people start seeing him. I think he's going to be the Patrick Mahomes receiver people want to get, and I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up in that kind of ADP of 4 to 6, 4th to 6th round by the time the people are drafting in early September.
All right. Like
Right
so
on.
you're not worried about like Rashee Rice. I feel like Rashee Rice, nothing's going to happen there, but you just think that he's the least talented
I just
of the
think
group.
I think just he's the odd man out.
Okay.
I think they've used the least draft capital in him. They didn't,
Okay.
they didn't trade for him, sign him. They didn't acquire him. They drafted him. I think third round. I mean, Xavier Worthy,
Something
they
like
traded
that.
up, right? Am I wrong? They
Yes,
traded
they
up for him,
traded up,
didn't
yeah.
they? I mean, so
Yeah.
the most capital, and it sounds like Mahomes is making a concentrated effort to get him the ball.
A lot of highlights of him in training camp. I
Yep.
know I put him on my do not draft list, but maybe it's a little bit of my rookie hate like I always do.
Trent,
but
if he stays where he is, I mean, I think he's good value right there. I think him, McConkey, Brian Thomas, all kind of going in that range right there. I think it's like your dealer's choice, your personal preference of who you like in that range. I like Worthy the most. You might like somebody else the most, and that's okay. But I think those trio of rookie wide receivers are in a pretty good sweet spot in that 8th round, that 7th, 8th round right there.
I like Brian Thomas a lot. He's not on my list, but just the amount of vacated targets that have left the Jacksonville Jaguars makes me like Brian Thomas a little bit. You know, like Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas have both been added. And speaking of Gabe, because of all the yards, you know, you just look at how much yards Trevor Lawrence threw for last year and his projection, what he's supposed to throw in this year. There's a lot of vacated targets and yards. They have to go somewhere. I think Brian Thomas can do pretty good. But talking about Gabe Davis, like this is fantasy football, kind of relevant. You know, Madden's out, or the Madden rankings are out. Madden's not out. Gabe Davis and Puka Nacua both have the same exact ranking on Madden, which is kind of crazy.
Rating or ranking?
Their rating is the same on Madden. I think they're both like 86 overall, 85
That's kind of
overall.
crazy.
So it's kind of crazy. Gabe Davis has been kind of a streaky guy, though, that has shown that he can do it, make good plays. But for just seeing where Puka's going in drafts, you would think that he would be a lot higher than Gabe Davis, though.
Or keep his rating fine, but then drop Gabe Davis down a little bit.
Yes, it's just kind of how the Madden
88's pretty high.
Stuff. Yeah, I should probably see what Gabe Davis's Madden ranking is while I'm doing this. But
you want me to move on here just to the next guy?
Yeah, move on to Seth and I'll look it up.
Seth, we're gonna have you talk about Christian Watson here and your wide receiver.
Yeah, so among ADP that we're looking at, he was at wide receiver 40, 70 overall. So not like something terribly outside of there. I do think it's possible he finishes higher than top 40. We just saw that the Packers just decided to pay Jordan Love a lot of money. So obviously they know like they're willing to pay a guy to throw the ball a lot. And I think they will, because I don't think Green Bay's defense is going to be that good this year. Now, despite that, Jaden Reed is the wide receiver 1 there. He kind of displayed that in Watson's absence because he was injured a lot last year. So we didn't get to see that stuff we did get to see at the end of 2022, where he had those crazy like 4 or 5 games where he had like 6 or 7 touchdowns, something crazy on a little bit amount on usage. Now, I do think as a player with what we saw last year, he's not like anything like in a all around route runner, right? He's not like so consistently the best route runner when it comes to like the whole route tree, but when it comes to like deep threat and across the field kind of stuff, or just the athletic freak we know he can be, like I think this is a guy that, like, you know, you get him in the 7th, 8th round, you're going to be pretty excited about it. So but I know I liked having him for those few games where he did blow up, and I did get him on waivers, I think in 22, and he messed me up last year drafting him, but I think I'm willing to take a hit this year, because if he does have these crazy games, you know, and the Packers are throwing the ball all the time, which means Jaden Reed's going to get the ball. Christian Watson's going to get a lot of targets. If they're down in games, they're going to be throwing it a lot. And I think that's just a player that I'm willing to take a flyer on.
Yeah. I like it there, Seth. I mean, he was acting almost as if an Amon-Ra St. Brown type guy 2 years ago, right? His rookie year. Like he was running into
he had
7
like 8
touchdowns in
TDs
7
in
weeks.
4 games or something.
Yeah,
right.
I
It
think
wasn't even like a possession receiver. I mean, he was getting like 20-point games on like 6 touches. Something crazy.
Yeah. So you're hoping to have a little bit of that back, right? That's what you're
To a
hoping.
certain degree. I don't think it's gonna, be that intense because he was like the only guy in that situation. And I think Aaron Rodgers was throwing it to him. No, yeah, Aaron Rodgers was throwing it
Yeah, it
to
was
him.
Rodgers.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
Rodgers.
was it?
So
Okay.
that was at the end, and then he did show a little bit of promise with Love, but still, like it's what we saw last year is obviously Reed was the better player, all around, I would say. But Watson, still has that athletic freak ability, go up and get the ball and can make these plays out of nothing. So
Yep.
How do you, just to follow up on that, Seth? How do you rank the Green Bay wide receivers in order? Like, there's 4 of them. How do you rank them?
Well, definitely Reed and then Watson, and then I think they have Wicks, and then I'm not
Wicks
sure
and
who the fourth
Dubs.
Yeah, so that's really interesting because I actually all think like Reed, Dubs, and Wicks are kind of all like the same player. But man, I would probably say just be in terms of like volume, Reed first, and then Watson just because of his like potential, and then Dubs I think right behind him, and then Wicks, right there too. Like it's kind of like a interesting Houston situation too. Like I think it's kind of similar. Obviously,
I was
not as
reading
good,
that
but
Reed is probably the safest also because he operates at the slot more. So his playing time is probably pretty safe. And where Watson, Dubs, and Wicks are all outside receivers. So it's going to be interesting. I tend to think that like if Watson's healthy, it's Dubs and Wicks who are going to rotate off and on, and maybe they do some 4 wide receiver sets. I'm sure they will. But like,
yeah,
I agree. I think I agree with you. I think it's Reed, Watson, Dubs, and Wicks. I think they're all interesting though, based on ADP. Like they're all kind of values where you can get them.
Yeah, the interesting thing is like I think Reed is like this ADP I was looking at earlier is only like 6 or 8 spots ahead of Watson. So it's not anything that much higher. Like they don't think he's going to be that much better in terms of fantasy points.
I think it's a good comp to the Texans, Seth. It's almost like a Texans light, like a lesser version, but the
like
same
a junior version. Yeah.
Yeah. The same problem though. Like it's
the same problem.
We think the offense will be good because we like the quarterback and we like the weapons. It's just impossible to know where they're going to go. And plus, they have a solid tight end in Musgrave too, Luke Musgrave.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's just there's just a lot there.
Well,
I wouldn't mind.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Trent.
No, I wouldn't mind doing an episode where we just talk about stacks, where we just talk about our favorite stacks, teams we could stack.
Like cheap stacks.
Yeah, cheap stacks. Like I think the Packers, and maybe we'll do that next week, but I think the Packers are a very cheap stack. Like where Jordan Love's going in drafts, he's still not shooting up that much. And then you can kind of stack like Watson and Reed very easily. And you could almost go like running back, like hero RB with those teams to a point. You know what I'm saying? So like, I wouldn't mind doing a stacks episode. Maybe that's a little foreshadowing for next week.
Stacks on stacks. All right, Trent, we are going Stack City. Let's talk about you here and Michael Wilson. Actually, let's not talk about you, but let's talk about Michael Wilson.
I'd rather talk about myself, honestly. But Michael Wilson, I like talking about cheap stacks. Like I'm kind of getting a little high on the Cardinals here. I like pretty much everyone there. Like, yeah, I don't love where Marvin Harrison's going in drafts, but Wilson is going. He's the 68th wide receiver. And he's going 161 overall. Wilson, his contested target rate was 34.1%. And 34% of his passes were contested. And he caught 73% of them. So to catch 73% of your contested catches is pretty good. Kyler Murray really trusted him last year in those last 2 games. He had those back-to-back double-digit games into the season, had a big catch against the Seahawks that put them ahead of had them win that game. And I'm sure you remember that, Phil, but I
sure do.
He was a rookie last year. I think Michael Wilson, for where he's going, it's really good value. Like, yeah, Marvin Harrison's the one, Maybe Trey McBride's the 2, but I think that this Cardinals team's gonna be a lot better. And they're saying Kyler's healthier this year. I think Michael Wilson's a great jump ball guy and a great, he's not going to be the head guy this year. And I know it was Brown last year, but I really like Michael Wilson and where he's going. I think he's a really good number 3, number 4 wide receiver you can get on your roster. Probably number 4 wide receiver 4 that might make a splash and surprise you. So maybe a little later than what people are looking for, but I think you could leave every draft with Michael Wilson if you really wanted to. I don't know what you guys think of Michael Wilson. Like, do you not like Michael Wilson, Jordan? Are you getting him at all or no in some of these best ball drafts?
I think I'm kind of like indifferent to him, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. Like, he's fine. I think he's a good stacked piece with Kyler. I just don't know how much Kyler I'll get to in Underdog and Underdog best balls and redraft. I don't know. Like, I think he's fine. I'm just probably in that range trying to find a receiver to stack with my quarterbacks or find a receiver with a little more upside. But again, I don't hate the Michael Wilson call, if that makes sense. If you like Kyler Murray, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, he finished
I just don't know how well
year.
he can spread it out, though. I'm unsure on how well Kyler Murray can spread the ball out to, like Marvin Harrison. We have the tight end there, and then I don't know. Like I'm it's yet to be seen to me.
Are the Seahawks the 4th best team in the NFC West?
No,
the Cardinals
absolutely
are
not.
better.
Yeah, what are you?
The Cardinals are better than the Seahawks. Jordan, do you agree with that?
Absolutely
What
not.
are you talking about? They've been abysmal the last 3 years.
The Cardinals coach is good, guys. That defense comes to play.
I will dollar bet you that the Seahawks finish with a better record than the Cardinals.
Okay, Cards, Hawks, straight up.
Put me in.
Seth, you on it? Yeah, that's what I thought. This guy is a straight up beta.
No, Trent,
I'm
with you. I'll be on your side. Add me in there. I got the Cardinals.
You agree with me? Okay.
He's with her.
Yeah, have fun having your double swirly. Have fun.
Yeah.
I think to Seth's point though, Trent, is that you do have you have Harrison, McBride, Zay Jones, Michael Wilson. So and they're going to run the ball. Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, he's a second-year guy though that was drafted by this regime.
No, I agree. Yeah. Can Kyler sustain? I think we all agree McBride's awesome, top 5 tight end. Yeah. Marvin Harrison, whether I like the value on him or not, doesn't really matter. He's a top 15 wide receiver probably right away. Can he sustain a third option? I guess that's my question.
So just for what it's worth, the odds right now on FanDuel, the Cardinals are a plus 124 to win 7.5 games, whereas the Seahawks are a minus 138 to win 7.5 games. Just to add a little bit of a line there. So it's a good bet. It's a decent bet. I still think Trent's they're making a wise decision.
The fact that they had the same line, of total games of one, they're both 7.5, kind of says that they're in the same ballpark talent wise, probably.
Well, they're playing the same pool,
Yeah.
It is a hard division.
It's a hard division.
Hard. Yeah. All right. Well,
although Brock Purdy did throw 3 interceptions the first scrimmage in pads.
It's true.
So
it's true. Also,
all right, moving on here. Let's talk about I'm going to go with look at Jordy over here thinking he's sneaking one by us with Luke McCaffrey. Jordan, you want to talk about that? The Rice graduate?
Dudes, we get it. Fantasy football is tough. From injuries, lineup decisions, stage fright at the draft. But what shouldn't be tough is the platform you play fantasy football on. Make the best and easiest fantasy football decision today. Text your commissioner right now and demand he takes your league over to Sleeper. From trading rookie draft picks, multi-team trades, a chat, and much more, Sleeper is the ultimate place to play fantasy football. And now Sleeper's offering picks with dynamic payouts, where you can win 100 times your money. They have multiple ways to play and easy research tools right there in the app, so you can make a good decision. Cheer together and watch your contest unfold in real time. All you gotta do is pick a player and choose an over-under. It's that easy, guys. The next easiest part is enter promo code DUDES100 and they will match you up to $100, guys. Come on, what are you waiting for? Take your league to the next level and have some more fun and win some cash along the way. Head over to Sleeper, guys. You won't regret it. I promise.
All right. Sorry about that, Phil. Hashtag not sorry.
That was very bizarre. I froze for like 3 seconds, and I come back to life, and all I hear is asking me to talk about something, and then an ad gets played. That was very weird.
No, poor timing for sure. Doesn't at all surprise me. But let's talk about Luke McCaffrey and the Rice graduate, brother of Christian. And I'm sure you have some things to say about this guy at wide receiver.
Yeah, so this is a late round value. I would call it wide receiver 82, 206 overall. Deep sleeper here. I don't know how much you're getting to him in redraft leagues, but I think he's a really good dynasty candidate. I think he's a great best ball candidate, late round best ball. I like for one in best ball. I like Jaden Daniels. I like this kind of Washington team in general, and so I like Luke McCaffrey. I think he's gonna plug in. I think as a slot receiver right away. I think it's gonna be Dotson, McCaffrey, and McLaurin as the 3 wide receiver sets. And I just think that he's a pretty talented guy. He caught a lot of balls at Rice. And I think they're going to be down in games. I don't know how good this team's going to be, but I think Jaden Daniels can kind of move the ball up and down the field. They're going to be down. They chucked the ball a ton last year. I know different quarterback, different coach, but I still think you're down. And I don't know how good this defense will be. So if they're down, you're going to get a lot of garbage time in that second half. And I think Luke McCaffrey is a very viable dynasty guy, 3rd round dynasty guy maybe, and then also very viable stacking piece with Jaden Daniels. And maybe you're a psycho and you're in one of those 16-team redraft leagues, 18-team redraft leagues, and you're in that last round and you're looking all around and you're I have no idea who anybody is. Go get Luke McCaffrey in those leagues.
That's some sound advice there. It's
or you're just a psycho.
True.
Yeah, I mean, you might be a psycho just in general, but
yeah.
I mean, Trent and I were in one of those leagues, so we're both psychos.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was 18.
Trent was the commissioner. Trent was the commissioner of that league, so he's a real psycho.
That was wild times. First year commissioning a league, we had 18 guys. There's been friendships lost over that, unfortunately. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Phil did some draft pick announcing one year at that. So,
that's the league. League that I did.
Seth was 7 when that started. That's the dude league, actually, but very sought after.
I think I was I don't know. Seth might have been a thought in the Lord's mind at that point. How old are you, Seth?
I'm 24.
Okay, now he's around. I definitely did some announcing. I think I asked you. There's definitely some classic stuff from that
was
day.
bad. That was bad. We did the Pledge of Allegiance before. We did the Pledge of Allegiance for the draft, which was fine. That was great. Then Phil told me to open the draft up in prayer, and I was just like, "This is so not appropriate." That is so. Anyways,
everyone is mad at me. Everyone was mad at me.
You're kind of used to that, though, honestly. So.
No, but we did have, what did we have? Eight pretty good sized tables. And we didn't know what we were doing.
System.
We didn't know what we were doing. We still don't know what we were doing. Someone in that league to be unnamed drafted a defense. I think we've talked about that before.
That was clearly too many people in that league. Yes.
There's too many people in that league. All right, moving on here. So Luke McCaffrey, we talked about that. Seth, do you want to talk about Curtis Samuel, or do you think that we should give it to Trent to talk about Jahan Dotson? I'm going to let you
go.
Let Trent talk about Curtis Samuel. What is this? The ex-Washington pod here? We have just this whole lineup here, right here. So basically,
it's kind of true, Trent, but I think you changed yours after I had mine. So
maybe
no, you did. Okay, Curtis Samuel came from the Commanders. Now he's over in Buffalo. Okay. So Buffalo has Khalil Shakir, who is listed as wide receiver 1, Keon Coleman, who they just drafted. And then they have Curtis Samuel, who they just got from Washington. So Curtis Samuel, 2 years ago, under this coach, who's now in Buffalo, had his best season ever. Okay. He played a lot of slot. He did a lot of different routes, and he even played quite a bit in the backfield. And then that wing spot where you got some different handoffs, and just pretty diversified player, pretty good route runner. And then even last year too, he had some games where He did pretty well with how many times the Commanders threw the ball. And now I do think, though, I don't really know how this Bills team is going to be. Like, I don't know how good Shakir really is because he never really was the guy. And I think Curtis Samuel maybe can be better than Keon Coleman. Like, I've seen some mixed things about Coleman. Like, he's a freak, but I don't really know how smart this guy actually is. So I think Curtis can fit right in there in the Bills. Is maybe, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see with the Kincaid situation, but I think he could possibly be the wide receiver one and have these crazy plays written up for him in the offense, which is someone that I've had multiple times in redraft leagues, and I've liked having him. And I think if you can get him in a best ball, like he's going to have some weeks where he blows up, and you're going to be glad you had him. So, Curtis Samuel.
So
Yeah,
are you talking about Mac?
106 overall. There you go.
So I know we're talking about Bills wide receivers, but did you guys see the Mac Hollins stuff?
I kind of did, but not like what did you see, Phil? Like the shoes? The
Guy doesn't
barefoot
wear shoes, doesn't use
He looked-
utensils, thinks small cats steal your soul, hasn't eaten a vegetable in 3 years.
He's basically the NFL version of Seth.
Yes, exactly.
He has like a tank top that's like cut up.
I like broccoli.
It's like cut up, and yeah, he's
That's
like
it. That's the
he's
only way
like-
we're different.
He was grounding at practice, right? Like he's walking around
Trent, that
barefooted.
is common. That happens all the
No,
time.
but he literally
No.
doesn't wear shoes. He doesn't wear shoes,
Trent,
and he doesn't
I've
use
seen
utensils.
McCaffrey walk around in practice with no shoes on.
Yes, everyone walks around without shoes on, Seth, because they
He
don't
was
want to like.
he was
dent
walking
their
into a
cleats.
porta john, Seth. Like, is it?
That's not.
I'm just
That's
saying
not
the
true.
grounding
No,
thing
he's
is like that's a
talking
thing
about being
across
an
the whole
earther.
NFL.
Like he's talking about being like an
you
earther.
know
and,
utensils
like,
is weird though.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like if you're eating anything besides pizza, chicken nuggies, a sandwich.
Seth eats pizza with a fork and knife. So
I've seen
Now
his
you're going
him
after
stick
him.
his whole. I've seen his.
Trent, you
I-
literally sweat when you eat ketchup. Okay, I don't want to hear it. You think it's spicy?
only Whataburger with spicy ketchup. Everybody went after me for eating a smash burger with ketchup. That's not a big deal, but keep going.
That tweet got a
No,
lot
a
of likes
smash burger
from me.
Taco.
That was a smash taco.
burger
one-
taco with ketchup.
One smash burger and taco don't go together, so it probably wasn't a taco.
Yeah.
No,
That was
hey, you need to
hilarious.
try
when
these,
Jordan goes,
Jordan.
I can't
I'll
believe
make it on
Trent said his
Blackstone,
favorite
Jordan.
taco
It's so bomb.
is a ground beef taco.
No,
So
no, you
Taco
make
Bell
the
if you want a
patties.
ground beef taco.
Guys,
Basically,
guys,
you
you
reincarnated the Taco Bell taco.
No, these things are so bomb, guys. Phil, you've seen the videos on Instagram.
I will say
Right.
they look good. They look good, but to boast that it's the best taco you've had out of all the taco trucks in the Central Valley,
No, it was Phil. You don't even like taco
No.
truck, so I don't want to
That's
hear it
true,
from
I
you,
know.
Phil. So
I like
his
quesadillas from
opinion
taco
means
trucks, and that's
nothing.
it.
Okay, nothing. Phil
To
has
be
no
honest,
opinion
Trent, I
here.
think it's closer to a quesadilla than a taco.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Yeah, no. Are you
Did you
looking
use
at my
American
ad?
quesadilla?
cheese?
Let's call it a smash burger
Uh,
quesadilla.
Did you use
The
did you
trend
use-
right now, Jordan, is smash burger tacos. They aren't calling it smash quesadillas, just for what it's worth.
We'll redo the trend, and you'll be right.
I will make it on my beta Blackstone, and you guys will get to try them. Okay.
All right.
That is, I don't
Anyways.
want to eat raw meat. Let's just hope this guy can figure it out. Trent, have you seasoned that Blackstone yet?
I haven't. I got it 2 hours ago. I went to Ace Hardware to get some pellets for my grill,
gotta
and I
season
saw
it
it
right
calling
now.
my
It's gonna
name, and I had to
rust.
buy it.
It's
It was
going
calling
to
my
rust.
name.
It's gonna rust if you don't season it
It's
right.
going
now.
to rust.
You guys are so stupid. It is not going to rust. I haven't even used
Trent's
it.
probably gonna sprinkle
Yeah.
salt on it. Be like, I seasoned it, guys.
No, guarantee
Ketchup.
after the pod he's going to be firing that thing up just to make sure there's no rust. Don't burn your house
Guys,
down. Do me a favor.
It was already set up at Ace Hardware. It was calling my name. I had to just take it.
What do you do at Ace Hardware? Did you have to go get like a
I had to get
water
more
hose or
pellets for the
what?
tri-tip I was doing, and I saw
And
it.
he
and I
came
was
home
like,
with
I need-
that, and his wife was like,
I came
"Why
home
did you
with that.
buy
My wife
another
was
grill?"
No, it was
Well,
not
I mean,
$500
the guy is an RV. Like the guy does have an RV now, so we got to.
I have an RV.
He's looking for things to fuel his RV. The guy RVs it up. I think he goes. I think he was staying in a Walmart parking lot 2 miles down the street from his house a couple weeks ago. I hardly would call that RVing, but whatever.
Yeah, Phil told me
Do
he
what
was
you
camping.
want.
He was living in a van down by the river. So
The problem is, Seth, here's the thing. He was telling me about his RV trip. He's like, get this, you can stay in a Walmart parking lot for free. And I was like, I don't know if that's actually true, Trent.
It is
that
true.
is
Yeah, and
true.
then
That
like
is
2 days
true,
later,
but I
you see
did
it
not
for
say
sale
that.
at his
Exactly.
house.
You said it. That was a test and you failed.
They call it Wally docking or something. I don't know. Anyways.
All right,
you want
moving
me to
on
go?
here. Yeah, let's talk about Jahan Dotson.
All right, Jahan Dotson. So this is the guy that we were all really high on last year, and I think he's good. Is he the next Puka Nakua? No, but is he a good number 2 wide receiver? Yes. I'm very high on Terry McLaurin. I still like Jahan Dotson too. I know he he falls down like if you touch him with a piece of paper. He was tackled like 90% of the time on first contact. So maybe not a guy who's going to get that yak, but I think he's be a guy that can get some more touchdowns, get some good opportunities. He's not going early in drafts. He is wide receiver 63. He's going 140 overall in drafts. So I think Jahan Dotson is a great dart throw, wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6. Somebody just put on your draft board right there. Maybe Terry McLaurin gets hurt, after maybe that happens later this week or something. But I think Jahan Dotson is very close to having a lot of volume, young wide receiver in Washington. They spent a lot of capital on him last year. So if we were high on him last year, why should we not be higher on him with a better quarterback? So Jahan Dotson is kind of a guy I think will be targeting late in drafts again this year. So he hurt me last strike 1. What is it? Your fault. Strike 2. Shame on me. Is that how it goes, Phil?
Strike 2, strike 3. You're out or something. I don't know how it goes.
Anyhow,
all right. Well, so Jahan Dotson,
painful.
I think that was a great explanation overall, Trent. Let's just stick with the trend here. I'm going to go back to.
We just went all Washington right there, though. Like Curtis Samuel, he's had his wagon parked at Washington before. Luke McCaffrey's at Washington, and then Jahan Dotson. So there's that's in
Trent,
the same
for what it's worth,
same town.
I think only one of us is going to be right. I don't know if both of us can be right. Only one of us is going to be right. So it'll be interesting to see, like, point per dollar wise, who's right at the end of the year.
Curtis, you're talking about me and you, right?
Yeah, us too. Like,
yeah. No, I agree. Unless like Terry McLaurin gets hurt or something like that.
Yeah.
Then we both could be right. But yeah.
Yes.
So, but they are saying he's been running a lot in the slot at camp. So maybe
it'll be interesting who would be the other outside receiver if they throw Dotson in the slot.
Yeah.
I'm looking at, let me pull up their depth chart again.
I think they're moving him around a lot more is what they said with this new.
And I wonder if McCaffrey, I don't see like Dax Milne, De'Ami Brown, Olamide Zaccheaus, like Jamison Crowder. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like McCaffrey, and they spent a 3rd round pick on McCaffrey. So like, I feel like McCaffrey, Dotson, and McLaurin are pretty locked in as the top 3 guys.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
I think there's probably someone in their car right now screaming, saying that we're talking about the Washington Commanders too much, but I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Hey, I think they're a fun offense to target this year.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about Rico Dowdle. I think I pronounced that name incorrectly. Yeah, let's hear about Rico. Your good buddy Rico.
Uncle Rico, also known as. For where this guy's going, running back 43, 139 overall, like, I think everybody, like, clearly not everybody should or can, but I think everyone with the cost that the Dallas Cowboys running backs are going for, one of them is going to be fantasy relevant. Maybe Zeke's only the goal line guy, but you can get a guy that's going to get carries every game very late in drafts. And I think we should all be targeting that Cowboys backfield between Rico and Zeke, just because the value I think is too good for them, especially if you're 0 RB, those 2 guys you can get very late in drafts. So, and Rico's actually, I think, going after Zeke in drafts, and he might be, the guy who gets the ball in between the 20s, which maybe that's not good, but this is a good offense usually that moves the ball, scores points. I think you're going to want a running back that's getting, 8 to 12 carries every game. And I think that's what Dowdle is. And maybe he gets some of the PPR. Are you leaning more Zeke, Jordan? Or are you more Rico? Or are you just like, I'm staying away altogether?
You probably didn't see this. Some stuff came out today about Dowdle. So back on May 30th, this is where the Dowdle hype came from. McCarthy said on Rico Dowdle, he's definitely one of the lead guys in the room. Okay. And apparently McCarthy has a pretty good reliability. This is the Coach Speak Index tweeted that McCarthy has a 90% reliability rating on depth chart Coach Speak. Didn't know that was a thing, but that's a thing apparently.
I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, it's kind of a count that I'm going to click the follow button right now on the Coach Speak Index. Okay. Now
that happened live, folks.
Yes,
live, pre-recorded live.
Somebody. Yeah. Today, it came out that Stephen Jones, vice president of personnel, I'm assuming, on the radio said veteran Royce Freeman has really impressed. They were surprised they were available on a deal in April. We were just talking about it last night at the scout dinner. What was this guy doing just sitting around here? An interesting guy to just have been sitting there. He's a great 2-3 combination in terms of what he can do as a backup. He's a big, thick guy, and he's a heck of a special teams player as well. He'll be a great addition and complement to Zeke, and then we'll let the young guys between Dowdle and Davis and those guys battle it out.
Okay.
That doesn't sound like somebody like who thinks that Dowdle is going to be like a lead back.
Yeah. So
that sounds like someone who's like Zeke Freeman, then one of Davis or Dowdle. Like,
yeah.
So I don't know.
With that being said, Jordan, no, I had not heard that when I did this. With that being said, I still think whoever that Cowboys guy is, Royce Freeman, he's gonna be going really late too. Like those guys, you have a shot where you can get Zeke or that other, or Royce Freeman or Dowdle and see how it goes. I really liked Royce Freeman in college. I thought he was really good. I took him in a lot of drafts when he was on the Broncos. It never really worked out for me. So maybe there's, some plan for his career stuff that kicks in here. I don't know. Royce Freeman seems like he'd be a bigger threat to Zeke than Dowdle, though.
No, I know. You
can take any of those running backs late in drafts, is my point.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to know, and I tend to think that Dowdle is going to be the number 2. That's kind of what I think, right? I lean that way. It just makes things a little more unclear, as if I think 24 hours ago, we were pretty confident it was going to be Dowdle and Zeke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we'll see after preseason too with stuff like that. Like the Cowboys running backs might be kind of interesting to watch here. But then again,
it's going to be a good position battle to watch.
Yeah. Then again, people went crazy about Deuce Vaughn last preseason, but Jordan only knows that because he just toured the Dallas Cowboys training facilities. So he kind of has some insider know.
Practice facility.
I've been to a game at the stadium. How was the stadium tour? Pretty cool.
It was okay. The field was off. The grass was off the field because they had a concert. It's a humongous stadium. To be honest, even as a non-Cowboys fan, the practice facility tour was a little bit cooler, a little bit more personal. It's kind of cool to see. Got to go in the locker room at the practice facility where they hang out every day. That weight room is unbelievable in the practice facility. They got 3 practice fields, 2.5 outside, and then an indoor practice facility inside. That indoor practice field is absolutely ridiculous. So
you're comparing Frisco to Arlington, though. Like Frisco's everything. I mean, yes, sure. Like the stadium's like elite, but Frisco is amazing right now, and they just built that thing. Like it's
Phil.
It's a really
stadium. You could put that stadium in Parlier, and it would be amazing, Phil. Like
that's what I'm saying. That's
yeah.
That's what I'm saying, though. But then when you go to their practice facility in Frisco, everything there is just amazing.
I actually think, as a Cowboys fan, it'd be much cooler. The practice facility tour is probably a lot cooler as a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Because that's where the players are at all the time, right? That's where they live.
I don't know if you know this, Trent. That's the majority of the time they don't go to the stadium every day. They go to the practice facility most days, and then they'll go to the playing facility on Sundays or Thursdays,
Phil,
or Mondays.
I hope the train by your house goes off the track and just goes right through your office. Nothing would make me happier. Anyways, next player.
Did you go to the cafeteria?
Jordan's like, they don't eat as much on Christmas as the Ravens do.
No, we did walk through the cafeteria. Yeah, we walked through it.
Pretty sweet. Get any soft serve or anything?
No, I didn't get any soft serve.
They give you like your BMI or anything, or like they do anything to you? Like, okay,
shock therapy.
Shock.
You know what else is cool? Their video room is like literally a theater, like it's a movie theater. It's pretty sweet.
That's cool.
Chairs are comfortable. It's it's a sweet setup over there.
I just love how there's such a difference on this pod of how we would describe a training facility. Jordan's very much into like the player walkthroughs, the film studio, like being able to watch a game there. If it was Trent or me, we would be talking about the cafeteria 100%. And me probably talking about the weight room.
Warmers.
And then Seth would probably be talking about like, I don't know, the sauna, ultraviolet, therapy, grounding.
Seth would
light
be,
therapy.
Seth
Yeah,
would be counting how many handicap stalls they had or something. Like, there's no telling what that guy's looking at.
I would have said that was out of code. There's not a handbar right there.
Exactly. Yeah, you nerd. Okay.
How many ring cameras they had throughout the facility. All right, moving on here. Nick Chubb. Seth, let's talk about Nick Chubb.
Okay, so we have talked about Nick Chubb a decent amount on this pod, just because I think Jordan's one of the big guys behind him, kind of brought him back to light. So
Average size.
obviously Nick Chubb had that insane injury. I think that was like week 3 after like 2 really good weeks. We saw that disgusting knee injury.
He's gonna miss the first week so far, is what they've said too.
Yeah,
right?
he started on the PUP list, I think, right? Or something like that. I think he's on the PUP list, which means they can still remove him before, but it seems like he's gonna start a little bit later. So missing the first potential few weeks is gonna push a guy down in the draft. We saw that with Alvin Kamara and his suspension. But I do really think Nick Chubb, like when he comes back and he is like 100%, like I don't know if he's just going to be just splitting time with Jerome Ford. Like I think Jerome Ford is okay and he's good, but I also think Nick Chubb is really good. And I'm willing to sacrifice a late round pick on a guy who can potentially get hurt again or who may never be good again because it's a late round pick. Like this guy I draft is going to be my third RB probably picked, and I'll be totally fine with it if he just bombs. But if he is great and at some point is getting 50% or more of the carries on the Browns, who are going to run the ball a lot, I'm going to be very happy I had him.
He's one of those guys that could be like a guy that like you get into playoffs and it's like, whoa, Nick Chubb won me my league. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe he doesn't get you there, but he's one of those guys that could just peak at the right time that you're just like, whoa, this guy is really good, So
well, remember Jordan said he was like his favorite to be the best running back. He had 2 really good weeks and then he got hurt.
Well, we all had Nick Chubb last season as like over on his rushing prop on Underdog. Remember? Like,
yeah,
and
it bombed really quick.
Yeah, it was a bummer. But yeah, I don't hate Nick. I've been grabbing Nick Chubb in a lot of Underdog best ball drafts, and it's been like 10
interesting ADP. Running back 37, 114 overall.
Yeah, so he's going after Rico Dottle as of the recording of this
Which
podcast.
Is insane.
Yeah.
Do we know how many games he's missing for sure? I know you guys said week 1, but do we know for sure how many weeks?
I haven't seen more than that. Definitely, probably by the time this pod comes out, we'll know more. But
I mean, it's crazy how fast his ADPs, like how funny they are. Like he started to rise the ADP when that video came out of him squatting a bunch of weight.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I think now his ADP will drop again because of like him sitting out a week. So it's just funny how it reacts to certain things.
Honestly, I would like it if he quit squatting that much weight. Like I know he's an NFL athlete, can do all this stuff, but it's just like, dude, like I don't know. I don't.
At what point is there a difference between 325 and 500 pounds? Is what you're saying, basically?
Yeah, like get on the leg press and do 1,200 pounds or something. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like
so here's the thing. We talk about a lot of things. Like when you talk about leg press, that's basically the equivalent of the grill you bought. Okay, if you're gonna do a leg workout, you're doing squats. You're not doing the leg press. Seth, back me up on this.
Yeah, I don't know. All I'm reading about is Nick Chubb is like insanely strong and also insanely fast.
Yeah. No one's doing leg press over here, Trent.
This guy like squatted an insane amount, and then he also like set a school record in Florida for like 100-meter dash.
Yeah. Here's the deal, Phil. Yeah, leg press isn't cool, but if you're doing like 2,000 pounds and 1,200 pounds, that's pretty cool. Like, don't act like you could do that.
Yeah, and your grill fits into your RV perfectly, so we could probably move on here.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Your Prius fits in your office too, but no one's talking about that. So
Are you talking about my Vespa? Yeah, that fits in here. All right, moving on here. That is just, you know what? I don't drive a Prius. I drive a tricked out CRV. All right, moving on. Let's talk about
With
Tajay
options.
Spears.
Yeah, I got Tajay Spears. Let's see. His ADP is running back 33, 105 overall. He's behind Tony Pollard. And I think this on the Titans, and I think this kind of goes like, I kind of think Tony Pollard just washed. I know they signed him for some money there. Do you know that contract, Trent, like offhand, what it was?
it's 3 years, like 20 million, I feel
Okay.
like. So it's a
So,
good amount of money.
It's a decent chunk of money. I just like Spears as a player. Like, he was good last year with Derrick Henry there. And I think Tony Pollard gets even less of a workload than Henry. And we think the Titans are down. I don't think the Titans are going to be very good. I'm kind of on that side of them. And they're going to be throwing a lot. And I just like Spears. Like, I think he's good value. He's young. I think he ends up being the guy there. And I think Tony Pollard, he's just kind of over the hill. It sounds weird because he was so good like 2-3 years ago. But like Trent's talked about, these running backs hit the wall and they can go downhill fast. So I'm team Tajay Spears. I think he's pretty dynamic. I think he was good last year. I think at minimum it's like a 50-50 split when it comes to like snap share. So I think in the kind of running back 33 as your RB 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and like if you do a zero RB draft, or even one where you like take a 1 early and then you just go like 5 wide receivers in a row, I think he's a good running back to take as like an RB2 or an RB3.
Yeah. So Pollard was 3 years, 21 million. So I was pretty close. Yeah.
I wonder how much of that guaranteed though also. So,
Yeah.
it may not be as much guaranteed.
Who is the running? The only thing that I'd argue with you on this, Jordan, is I kind of was Spears too, is they got Callahan, right? The old Bengals offensive coordinator. And what did Callahan do with Joe Mixon? Like, Joe Mixon's been like a top 12 running back the last 4 years. And it's been like, how? He's not that good. Like, what does he do? It's just like he gets the 1 yard line and they run the ball with their main running back. So if Spears can be that main running back, he'll get goal line carries. It's just, is it going to be him or Pollard?
My counter to that, Trent, would be you're talking about the Bengals offense with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins versus Titans offense with Will Levis, DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. No, it's true.
That would be my counterpoint to that. And a Bengals team that's been good over the last few years.
True, but the Titans have spent the last 2 years on first round offensive linemen. So the offensive line should be a little bit better. And it just depends who he gives those red zone carries to, because I really like Spears a lot. Like, I like him, but it's just, what are they going to do when they get down to the 1 yard line? Is it going to be Pollard? Pollard wasn't a great red zone running back last year, so it could be Spears. But this O-line is a little bit improved, and it never made sense to me why Mixon got so many red zone carries, because you had Chase, you had T. Higgins, you had Joe Burrow. Like, why was, I guess maybe teams just were more spread out, not expecting the run. Maybe that's what you're saying. But yeah, that would be my only argument, where it's just, I don't know. But this is late round value, so it's going to be one of them.
My point though is, Trent, is that they may not get to the 1. Like, you have to get to the 1 to get a 1 yard handoff.
True.
Like, the Bengals were a good offense on a good team that got there, and in the fourth quarter, they were running the ball out with Joe Mixon a lot. I'm saying they're going to be behind. There's going to be some PPR value with Spears. He just might be in the game when they're coming. He was a great pass catching running back last year, and he was in the game for drives at a time with Derrick Henry on the field. And we have the same coaching staff in Tennessee, right? I didn't miss something, right?
New OC,
but I mean, it's still variable, right? So,
no, it's not.
Wait,
Vrabel.
What? No,
it's not Vrabel.
Tennessee.
Who is it? Who
It's the Ravens. It's the Ravens head coach. So it's a new regime.
It is
right?
Vrabel's in
Okay.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Vrabel's in Cleveland.
New regime.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know.
No, it's
Titans,
good. It's 2 a.m. where you're at. Yeah. No,
not
so,
quite, but
yeah. So, So no, that's my only thing, is I just don't know. Like, I really like Spears. Is that who the new head coach is? Is it the old Ravens guy, or the Ravens guy went to Seattle? Sorry. Who got the
It's
head?
the same GM though, right? Same
Yeah,
GM that
sorry,
drafted
Callahan
Spears.
Callahan is the head coach of the Titans now. He
Got
was the
you.
OC. So
Got
you
you.
have the old Bengals
Got you.
OC as the head coach. So sorry for everybody punching air in their car right now listening to that. But yeah. Phil, do you want to throw it over to our quarterbacks right here?
I
You know,
sure
remember,
do,
guys,
buddy.
hit the like, hit the subscribe. I hate it when you call me buddy. And the quarterbacks is brought to you by our friends over at Trophy Smack. Guys, it's not too late to get that new fantasy football trophy. Get the belt, get the last place punishment, get the plaque for the wall, get the bust of Patrick Mahomes, all that good stuff. All you got to do is go to trophysmack.com/dudes, 15% off your whole entire order, guys. Get the bling for the draft party. It's just real fun to have that belt, whatever it is you want to have. Trophysmack.com/dudes, 15% off, guys. And yeah, you can get some participation ribbons, all that good stuff. Phil, who do you want to throw it to here? Partner?
Let's start with you, Trent. Let's start with you and let's talk about your boy Tua here.
Tua. Okay, Tua. Dolphins' best pass rushers are injured. They got Jalen Phillips tore his Achilles last year. Bradley Chubb's on his third ACL surgery. I don't know when he's going to play. I don't think they're going to rush him back. I like Tua because of the stats, which we're going to talk about more next week. But Dolphins have Olympic track speed team. You got Waddle, you got Tyreek Hill. They passed the ball 60% of the time in the first half last season. It was closer to 50% in the second half. So these teams like to come out. They like to jump on you early, throw the ball. They put Tyreek in motion. They put Waddle in motion. It's really hard to stay on those guys, especially in motion when they get that full head speed. But I like pairing Tua up with that bad defense because I think they're going to have to throw the ball a little bit more. Last year, Tua, 22% of his passes were between 11 and 20 yards. 68% of his throws were into wide open windows. Most QBs don't clear 60%. He was at 68, closer to 70. And he had a 49% success rate into tight windows. His only flaws are he only had 10 unscripted rushing plays last year, and he isn't great under pressure. But I think McDaniels is going to put him in the position. And it seems like Waddle has to bounce back. 2 years ago, he was so good. I know they have Tyreek Hill now, but the weapons he has, I think he's going to be really good. He even has OBJ there, which I'm not saying OBJ is, even a skeleton of what he used to be. But I just think Tua has too many weapons. I think McDaniels is going to scheme him really well. And
new contract.
New contract. I think the defense on the other side is going to make him get into these shootouts, and I like it. And he's going so late in drafts. He's QB 14 is what he's, his averages right now. So I don't hate getting Tua late in these drafts, especially if draft Tyreek Hill in a draft or Waddle. Like he's real easy to stack with those guys. So I'm going with Tua Taga, however you say it, but
Tua
I should know
Bailoa.
how to say that by now. Yeah. Jordan, do you disagree with that? Do you like it? Other quarterbacks maybe you like more, but I think he's a good late round QB.
No, I don't mind it at all. I don't mind it.
Okay. All right. What do we got next here, Phil?
All right. Kicking it over. I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go with Jordy. Let's talk about Herb Street here.
Kick it.
Yeah. I have Justin Herbert here. ADP, QB 17, 119 overall. There's other guys I like in this range too, a little bit higher than him, but I just think Herbert's kind of being a little undervalued. I know he wasn't good last year, and I know that he has Harbaugh now as his coach. They're going to run the ball. I understand that, but also like Herbert, it's too low. Like we're talking about a guy who was probably top 5 quarterback being drafted last year. I know I took him pretty high last year in one of my drafts, and I think that the overcorrection is too much. I think he's somewhere as a QB 10 to 12. I think new coach. I think the new coach is going to do wonders for him. Like as much as they won't throw the ball, I think he's just going to be better coached, more disciplined, have a better feel for the offense, a feel for what he wants, what his coach wants from him. And I think the play action could be really good. I know he lost Keenan Allen, no Mike Williams, but you have Josh Palmer, who was good last year. They drafted Ladd McConkey. I've Harbaugh's talked up Quentin Johnson recently, which I think is good news probably for some Quentin Johnson like dynasty owners. But yeah, like I think this is a quarterback who can be effective. I think he can be a QB 12, a top 12 QB. So I just think the overreaction has been too much. And I think if you're in a super flex league, I think he's great. I think honestly, if you're like in a dynasty league, I think he's kind of like a decent target for you, like maybe a buy low, just because people might be frustrated because they thought he was going to be like their QB1 for the next 10 years. Might be a little frustrated. Maybe you're in dynasty super flex. I think he's a decent target there. And I think he's a kind of a QB2, your second QB stack in Underdog best ball leagues.
I
All right.
agree, Jordan. And yeah, we'll talk about him more with stacking, but super easy quarterback to stack. It's not hard with those guys. We don't really know who the guy is, but like Palmer, Quentin Johnson, they're acting like could still be that guy. Lad McConkey, they're saying looks good. So no, I don't disagree with that at all. I like it. And I think Harbaugh will be good for him. I think he just needs some consistency and not know that, they're going to go for it on 4th and 12 on their own 5-yard line, so.
All right. Close us out here, Seth.
All right. So I got Aaron Rodgers as my last late round pick. I think if in redraft form, if you want to wait for Rodgers here, I actually don't mind it. But like I said, if I do think Rodgers can finish top 15, he is listed at QB 20, 145 overall. But we all know how his season ended last year. First game, Achilles gone. 2022, he played for the Packers. Didn't have that good of a season, but we all know how frustrated he was like for Green Bay in that organization. But we do know that Aaron Rodgers has had MVP caliber seasons multiple times in his career and has been good for a while. Now, I do understand that he is older and coming back from a significant injury, but we all know how serious he took his recovery. And we also know his track record. And part of that track record is after a bad season, Aaron Rodgers usually comes back to be a really good player. So I think if he can stay healthy, I think Rodgers can be better than what like the ADP has him at. If that makes sense.
You think he's going to over deliver on what the people are setting his expectations at?
Mm-hmm.
I do think
I think people might think the Jets are going to run the ball a decent amount, which I do think they will, but I think that might help Aaron Rodgers out passing if they can run the ball pretty well.
That is him and Garrett Wilson did get in a fight at practice last week, but they're adults. They shook it off. They shook hands after they were
Hugged,
good.
I think.
That's just part of I think they hugged like that. Hey, when I was watching that video, I was a little worried. I was like, oh man, this could be bad. And it's all good. It's all good.
We've had those types of tiffs, before a pod, and then we ended up hugging it out, and it ended up working out.
Like the time I told you your grill was charcoal and not propane, and then you were like, "No, it's not." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, it's charcoal." And then your grill worked all of a sudden. It was great. I'd never seen anybody hook a propane tank up like that before. That was pretty wild. But we're still friends. So it's okay.
Stupid.
Okay. I think that's kind of all of our list there. We got Michael Wilson, Jahan Dotson, Rico Dottle, Tua, Christian Watson, Curtis Samuel, Nick Chubb, Aaron Rodgers, Xavier Worthy, Luke McCaffrey, Tajay Spears, Justin Herbert. I kind of like doing this. I thought this was a fun exercise, maybe the best, most exercise I've done in a while. I'll vouch for that. Let's get into you speed walker over there. Let's get into our fantasy football draft foods. It is draft month. I don't know if each guy wants to do 2 things, if we should critique this, how you want to do this. Seth, do you have like your top 3 favorite foods that are hoping you're at a draft party or whatever? A lot of guys like, just punt to like McDonald's McChickens or chicken nuggets, that's okay if you don't have a plan, but you should have a plan, for your favorite.
You should have a plan.
Yeah.
Seth?
So number 1, jalapeno poppers. Okay. I always will come back to like a party. That is one of my favorite foods. I don't like, which is interesting, is like, I don't like cream cheese. Okay. I dislike it. But I like it in jalapeno poppers. I don't know why, but and preferably bacon wrapped. Okay, if you're gonna make jalapeno poppers, gotta have bacon.
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of figs either, or how there's is it fig or no? It's a date, right? Don't they do them with like dates too? Have you done?
Don't knock it if you don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going to tell you. No one tell them. Just let them keep going.
What is it?
Is it a date? There's bacon wrap dates. Phil, for content of the pod, tell them what it is.
Yeah,
I just like seeing him sweat. It's bacon wrap dates. Bacon wrap dates with goat cheese. It's bacon wrap dates, Setherton.
But like bacon wrap though.
Whoa, what's going on here? Why did you just go dark?
My lights turn off. Okay, there we go. Yeah. I'm back.
Hey, here's an idea: pay your power bill, Seth. That's what I hate.
No, I paid it real quick. That's why it came back on.
Yeah.
So what are you saying? Why are you hating on the bacon wrap dates? You're a jalapeno popper guy, and you just wanted to throw shade at they're virtually the same thing. No. All that is difference is the vehicle in which it's being carried. Like, if you think about it, Seth, just hear me out, okay? Bacon wrap dates are bacon, a date, cream cheese, or goat cheese in the middle. A jalapeno popper is a bacon wrapped jalapeno with cream cheese in the middle.
Okay.
I thought they were mixed sometimes.
What draft are you going to that has bacon wrapped dates? Like, seriously, are you going to a fantasy football draft? Or are you going to a tea party? Like, seriously,
are you doing Pilates before?
Like, what's
all right?
Like, yeah, Phil, Seth's like, I also like croissant sandwiches at my drafts.
Okay? I'm gonna do a classic one. Pizza,
chicken salad sandwich. Oh,
Nothing beats pizza when it hits. Okay, all I know is when I go into a draft and I know there's pizza and I know there's gonna be like some hot Hawaiian. Man, I know I'm just gonna destroy a whole large Meanits pizza by myself. Okay,
all right,
that is just the best. That's the best feeling when you get a pizza all to yourself.
Yeah,
and you're just gonna eat it throughout the whole draft.
Yeah, that was an easy save there after your last two blunders that you didn't even know what they were.
I didn't say dates. I was saying like I thought maybe sometimes the jalapeno poppers had a date in it. Sometimes
it's okay. It's okay. Phil, do you want me to go? You want to go? What do you want to do? Phil's going to say,
yeah, I don't mind going. I don't mind a good charcuterie board, although I don't know how much they're going to be at a draft. I roll with a more sophisticated palette of maybe some of my buddies. But here's one thing that I think is just absolutely delicious that I've been contemplating a little bit. Do you know what people sleep on, but you can eat it with your hands, and you can eat it with your hands and a fork, and you just stand around and kind of chat with each other.
Waterbed.
What the?
You said you sleep on it.
No. Frito boats. Like, you just open up a bag of Fritos, small bag of Fritos, get some chili in there, maybe some chopped jalapenos, some cheddar cheese, maybe a dollop of sour cream. You just sit there with a plastic fork and a bag of Fritos.
Don't sleep on a chili bar.
Don't sleep on a chili bar. Yeah. Definitely don't. Yes, for sure. So that would be one thing. It's still a little bit warm in the Central Valley, but a nice Frito boat that you could just sit around, talk shop with your buddies, clear out the room. I'm sure 45 minutes to an hour after, just because people don't digest that well. But that would be the one thing. I think I'm a huge listen. Seth's going to give me a little bit of hate for this, but bacon wrapped dogs with some nacho cheese on top. I think you can't go wrong. I have to stick to the script. Bacon wrapped dogs in general, but you throw some nacho cheese on that thing, you get a little bit lucrative, with the ingredients and chills. I think that's something that is also good. I'm trying to think. I think those are probably some of the bigger things. Seth, I have to give it to you. Like the jalapeno poppers, I couldn't say those, but you can't. If you go to a party and there are jalapeno poppers,
couldn't say those because you've never had them in a draft. That's why you couldn't say those.
I've had jalapeno poppers.
Yeah. Have you had them at a draft, Jordan? You maybe had them at a Super Bowl party. Yeah. Who do you know that makes them for drafts, Jordan?
I feel like I have had them at a draft.
I could have sworn I've been at a place with Seth for a draft and he brought them. Seth, your wife makes.
I'm pretty sure I brought them to a draft.
Trent, yeah. The best jalapeno poppers I've ever had is not by anyone's
I brought
wife,
them to a draft.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Seth brought them to a draft
at your house.
Yeah.
Okay, I do remember that. Shoot. Okay, my bad.
Exactly.
Hey, do us all a favor. Cock your hand back as far as you can and just punch yourself in the face.
Yourself.
Hey, One of my favorite things I did in draft, I don't know if I'll do it again this year, but I like to lay out tinfoil on the table, then just throw chips on there, nacho cheese, chili.
Yeah, you do a good job at that.
jalapenos. I throw a little
Yep.
bit of hot Cheetos in there as well. But yeah, you just make a nacho bar at a draft is very easy and it's very good. Get your crock pot, put the hot cheese in there. If you dump the cheese on there too soon, it will make the chips soggy. That's the only problem. Ground beef, all that good stuff. Nacho bar is really easy. Throw the chips on the table. You have them there. You're serving yourself while you're drafting. You can have it on the table. Hot dog bar, also good. Have hot dogs, all the different condiments. That's good. Sliders are good. Mozzarella sticks.
Oh, the if you're saying sliders, the one thing that I would say is the sliders that are, you throw them into the oven and you bake them, and you have you'll get like poppy seeds, maybe like a little mustard sauce that goes on top. Do you know which ones I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I know. We talk about those all the time.
So good.
They're good. Yeah. I'm surprised Phil didn't say like homemade ice cream or something. But no.
All right. You know what? Moving on.
There's an obvious one that I think Jordan's gonna get right here. So I'm gonna throw it over to Jordan.
I think wings. Are you saying wings?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, wings.
I think wings are good.
Tommy want wings.
Wings are good. I think Trent, and maybe we have it more around where we live, but like those Mexican party platters are pretty good too.
Oh yeah,
those are good. Those
chimichangas.
Oh
yeah. The old quesadillas, like those are good too.
I can down 19 of those chimichangas. They're like
the taquitos aren't that good on there.
Oh,
but
they're terrible.
Yeah, but
that's when you say fodder all the time. That's what those taquitos are.
Yeah,
on
taquitos
that
are straight up fodder, and those are there to just like appease you. 3 hours after the party's been going because they're still there. That's why they do those.
Yeah.
They always overcook them. I can make better taquitos in my from my frozen food section at my local place in the air fryer. Yeah,
but what you have to say is like
chimichangas, man. The
chimichangas,
goodness.
Those things,
those will be in heaven.
They will be in heaven. You're exactly right.
Yeah, get some guac.
Yeah,
if ketchup's available.
Stop.
Sour cream.
If ketchup is available, it's not. I'm telling you right now, it's not.
This guy off.
I carry my own ketchup places I go, because just in case of emergency, that is my ice.
That is weird. Every time Trent reaches for his keys, ketchup packets fall out too. So,
and yet the guy,
I brought guys. I'm bringing Trent home about 5 packs of Whataburger spicy ketchup. So he's having his pocket ready to go.
And I won't be.
That's like cyanide to the guy. That's basically cyanide for him. So, hopefully he'll do all 5 of them at the same time. Do you remember when he almost died after we had that chicken nugget, Jordan?
It was a spicy nugget from McDonald's that went down the wrong tube. You would have missed.
The guy was trying to Heimlich himself.
You would have missed the next pod after that, Phil. So I don't even want to hear it. That was a life or death experience. I almost laid down on the ground and had you guys jump on my stomach. But anyways, I think that does it, guys. We talked draft food. We had some, late round value. Had a buck bet. We haven't had a buck bet in a while. So all that good stuff, guys. We'll see you next week. And as always, take care.
This has been another episode of the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Remember to rate, review, and follow. For more information, go to www.thefantasyfootballdudes.com. And remember, we are sorry for absolutely nothing.